Go to all things social media at Lauren Fix. Go to laurenfix.com. Subscribe to Car Coach Reports on YouTube. Also, go to carcoachreports.com and get the latest 5 days a week news, updates on everything from cars to reviews to the new cars coming out to the recalls of the cars coming out and, of course, energy, oil, pricing, everything, including updates on the United Auto Workers strike, which is what we're going to talk to Lauren Fix about today. Lauren, what's on your mind?
Oh, lots going on. I literally just ran back from the airport. You have a lot of fans on the plane today.
Well done. I appreciate that. Lauren, I'm going to ask you a question first and foremost. I want to talk about this jobs report that just came out. Because if you go into the details of the jobs report, it talks about how the pricing with total job openings and the year-to-date percent change in consumer price. Many things are through the roof. Motor vehicle insurance is up almost 20%. And then you go to the things that are actually doing a little bit better. Energy, about 3.6% reduced. Gasoline year-to-date, about 3%. But when it comes to the new vehicles, that's up 3%, and vehicle insurance is up almost 20%. What do you equate that to? Is it as generic as auto theft, or is there something else as to why insurance is through the roof?
There's more. There's certainly more. I did post a report today on some good news. I think I sent you a link to that. We can talk about that in a second, as well as some updates on UAW. But as far as insurance prices going up, there's a multitude of reasons. Anytime there's a lot of expense on an insurance company, they pass that along to you, the consumer. You kind of know that. We have snowstorms, people have damage to their homes, home insurance goes up. If you live in Florida, there's a hurricane, home insurance goes up. You have a lot of accidents with cars or flooding with cars, car insurance goes up. Well, in this case, we've had a couple things with this EV revolution. There's been a couple ships that have caught fire, and believe it or not, because of the massive loss to the insurance companies, because they're insured by what's called a reinsurance company, they've increased the cost of insurance for cars, plus the cost of replacement. So you have fill in the blank car. It's electric, it's hybrid, it's a plug-in hybrid, it's gas, it's diesel, whatever, and you have a car accident. Cost of replacing that car is more because the average price of an electric vehicle is around $60,000 and the average price of a gasoline-powered vehicle is $50,000. So that has gone up. Before COVID, that was like $34,000. So you can account that to inflation, recession, and the chip shortage, and everything else that you'd like to fill in the blank on. So it's really important that you realize that as things get more and more expensive, someone's going to pay the bill. And it's always the end user. So it's important to keep that in mind as well. So when you're talking about not just the ships and the damage and the flood damage, it is more expensive. Car insurance has gone up. It's going to go up even higher. We're being told somewhere between 20 and 25% by the end of next year. So it is an expense, and everything else has gotten more expensive as well, right? You've got food got more expensive. My water bill, my electric bill, yours, everybody's has gone up. And if everything costs more and you're not making more, which kind of leads us into that UAW conversation, it all adds up quickly. And so it basically the end user pays the higher price.
Now, we're definitely going to get into UAW. I want to just ask your opinion on something. Monica Wallace, local assemblywoman, is now petitioning along with 30, 40 of her colleagues in the New York Assembly to the Highway Safety Transportation Board. Or maybe screw that up, but
NHTSA, yes, go ahead. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, yes.
There you go. I knew it was something. But they're the ones that manage the recalls, and they normally do these recalls due to safety. But they want a mandatory recall on 2011 to, I think, 2021 Kia Hyundais because of the theft and ease of being able to steal from them. But if Kia and Hyundai are already saying, take your vehicle in and we'll set you up and we'll take care of this, why would you think that a recall would mean? I mean, people are still going to get their vehicles stolen. Just because your car is recalled doesn't mean that people are going to bring their car in. And if Kia and Hyundai are already saying we have a solution to this, why would you need a recall? To me, this is like they what does an assembly person have that much power where the national safety boards are going to say, okay, we're with you? Have you seen this before?
No. I've had this conversation with a lot of interesting people who are involved on the car manufacturer side as well as the political side. So I said, what if the city of Buffalo decides to sue Hyundai because they claim they use more services? That money goes to them. That money doesn't go to you. And we've discussed this before. And when you ask for a recall for all this, you're basically asking for a company to do more than they're already doing. They're already offering a repair free of charge. They put a sticker on your car saying it's been fixed. That doesn't mean that your car won't ever get stolen again. That's entirely possible. And people don't realize that, it's up to you also to not park it in a spot where it'll get stolen and lock your doors and all that stuff. And yes, you can buy a club for your, or some sort of device to lock your steering wheel. All that stuff is possible.
Right.
I've talked to Hyundai and Kia, both high level executives about it. And they're telling me that less than 10% of people that have these vehicles are getting them repaired. That makes no sense. If you have one of these vehicles, and it's like saying you have an airbag that could blow up at any time and cut your face up. Nah, I'm not going to do it. You could have an ignition switch that could fail at any time. I'm not going to do it. We've had tons of recalls, tons of them, and people typically hear it and they ignore it. And that's true even if I bring up some old stuff like Dieselgate, unintended acceleration with Toyota. I mean, there's been a ton of different recalls. Very common. It's not like super common, but there's always a recall for something. I just got one for one of my vehicles, and I'm going to go to the dealer and get it fixed. If you choose not to, or you say, well, I'm not the original owner, so I wouldn't know. It doesn't make a difference. It's the vehicle that's covered. Contact the service department, get your vehicle fixed. But having a political person getting involved, trying to get NHTSA to put more pressure on the manufacturer to do what? They've already offered a free repair. Now, if it costs you something, all right, I could see them getting mad. But when these cities start suing car manufacturers, that's ridiculous. It's a money grab.
But we saw that.
And that's why cars cost more.
Well, the point you made, though, about the airbags and that was literally like a frag grenade going off in your car. I mean, that was metal shrapnel everywhere. If that's not going to get someone to immediately have it replaced, then what good does a recall do? You need an educated consumer that knows their vehicle's recalled. That's why that advice you put out all the time by checking to see if there's a manufacturer recall, the websites that you put out, we have to do limited amount of work. It's not like the Hyundai Kia ferries are going to drop from helicopters and fix it for us. So, we've got to do something about that. Yeah. That would be. And So I'm going to ask you about this. It appears that every time you're on the program, and I don't believe this has anything to do with Lauren Fix, the car coach, but it is odd that like 2 hours after every appearance, there's an update from UAW. I think they're doing it on Fridays, and there's a coincidence that you're on the air on Fridays. But 2 p.m. today, we're going to get an update. What could this mean for Western New York workers?
Well, I will tell you that it's typically Friday at 10 o'clock. But now for some reason, Sean Fain, who's the UAW president, decided to move it to 2 o'clock. So I'm happy to give your team, if they need the information, to give me a call, and I'll be happy to update you, because I won't know until you know. I can only speculate at this point, but I know that the UAW strike has not crippled the Detroit 3 inventory levels at this point. So that's good for you, the consumer, if you need a vehicle. But I will tell you, the longer this stretches out, it's going to cripple inventory, and that means it's going to hurt jobs. And they've already let go quite a few people at our local plant. It's not a ton, but it's certainly enough that, we start going, oh, wait a minute, I've got some friends at 48 local lock, then go for the all electric, because they'll produce at literally pennies on the dollar, because they don't pay their people anything. That's just the way they operate. There's nothing you can do about that. Now, on the other side of this, I am very concerned about the government getting their fingers involved, any government, in the car industry or any industry, because when they do, they mess it up, whether it be healthcare or cars. And it's happened in other countries where the government's got their fingers in the automotive industry, and England is the perfect example. They destroyed it. There is no car companies that are built in England that are based in England. They're all owned by other companies, whether it be the Germans, the Indians, the Chinese, you name it. And that's happening a lot. And you're going to watch a consolidation in our industry and less choices for you. So What can we do? Nothing personally. We can be informed, be aware, but the UAW is going to have to make a decision at some point because they're realizing that electric cars means 40% less workers. And I said it at lunch yesterday with a bunch of other journalists from multiple other outlets, and we were all saying the only one that's going to win on this is probably Elon Musk and Tesla, because he has U.S. workers, so he gets the tax credit. He's non-union, and he moved his plant to Texas. Actually, the plant was right near where we were in Austin. A huge facility. And you're starting to see the transition of General Motors building battery plants in Nevada, Ford building a battery plant in Tennessee. So you're starting to see this transition away from these union workers, and it's going to hurt them. So they're the ones that really kind of going to have to negotiate, and you can't stick your heels in the ground and go, you know what, it's our way or the highway, because you can't win that way.
You can't. It never has worked, and it's not going to work here as well. Lauren Fix is the car coach, and she's brought to you every single Friday at 12:30 by our friends at Bell Rings Automotive Center and Donnie Razor, your automotive center, your local tire and car customization headquarters. Donnie Razor, give him a call at 362-0562. You're going to get the best prices in inventory in town, and you have the car coach Lauren Fix to thank because she's sending you to Bell Rings Automotive and Donnie Razor. Go to all things at Lauren Fix on social media, laurenfix.com. Car Coach Reports on YouTube. Subscribe to that and go to carcoachreports.com. Lauren Fix, thank you very much. Excellent, excellent information today.